When?
Now.
When? Now? Here? This?
Maybe?
Maybe?
It's not my camera, is it? Like, I could turn off the new camera.
I don't think so. No, everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Right.
I mean, this is all new to us, guys. This whole video with the audio thing, me waving my hands in front of my lights, like this is just the video is just it's one extra step that we are not prepared for.
I haven't gotten my green screen working yet, so if I lean this way, you can see the back corner of my wall through my headphones.
It doesn't know what to do with in between your headphones still, but well, let's quickly talk about what everybody's on fresh on their minds. And if it's not fresh on their minds, everybody's like, what? We had a couple people on social media that were like, what are you guys talking about?
Yeah, the problem is every time it comes up and you try to be gentle about it, about 8 more people go, wait, what? And then the conversation grows.
And then it becomes another thing. So
it becomes a cacophony.
Starting on Thursday and Friday of last week, we saw Logan Kim and Celeste O'Connor heading to Los Angeles. They're very active on their Instagram accounts. And lo and behold, then Jason Reitman posts a photo of himself on Monday with, directing 2020, where he's wearing the face shield and the mask. This is after he posts a patch of the Moogly, the No Ghost logo with a mask on as well. Some sort of a crew gift of some sort. At any rate, we do know that Finn Wolfhard, Celeste O'Connor, and Logan Kim, at the very least, those 3, thanks to social media, we know were doing something on the Sony lot. We also know that Celeste and Logan both got awesome Element skateboards, which I'm very jealous of. I don't know.
I know, right?
I'm like, I've been looking for those things. I found one shop in Scandinavia that has the Slimer board, and it's going to be like $400 to send it here. It's ridiculous.
There's a certain point you just got to go punk rock, go buy yourself a blind board, and then Ghostbuster it up yourself.
And then just make my own. So, yeah, exactly. I'm too lazy to do that. But
I've always wanted to do that.
So the question is, what are they doing on the Sony lot? And the answer is, we have no idea. It could be anything, and they could be doing ADR. They could be doing a promo shoot, like they could be doing their EPK interviews for the DVD. The fact that Jason Reitman says he's directing, that to me, I kind of raised an eyebrow. Like, they're shooting something. I feel like they're shooting, a trailer, a cutscene, like an end credits, like Marvel tag, or
maybe. But
something.
If it's ADR, the director can still guide a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I need you to say this. Can you be a bit more scared?
But especially during a pandemic, you can do ADR from anywhere. You can ISDN in. That's from true. Like if Logan Kim is, I think, where is Logan from? He's from like Minnesota or something. He could be remote.
Is he? I thought he was Canadian for some reason.
Oh, is he Canadian? Yeah, maybe. But it's especially Logan being a youngin too. It's like you're traveling him in, and I think he's still a minor. So there's a lot of logistics to employ a minor and bring them out and travel them and things like that. So it could be ADR.
Could be.
I mean, and some people were saying like it could be reshoots or pickup shoots, but then others pointed out that Celeste still looks the same because she's actually 20. What did we say? She's 21. Even though she
I didn't look it up.
Looks like honestly. 17, 18. I think she's in her 20s. And then, but Logan looks a lot different than he did last July. Obviously, it's like Stranger Things. You go from season 2 to season 3, and everybody looks like the aspect ratio is wrong. They all got tall out of nowhere.
Yeah, which again lends itself to your suggestion that it's like maybe it's just some pickup insert shots, because that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if it's just over the shoulder, hands, but again, you could do any. You could have any.
You can still
photo
even
double.
do it like well.
And why would you travel them out here for that? So, I mean, go ahead. I was gonna say in my imagination, I'm knowing that Jason went to such great lengths to create that teaser trailer that was the announcement video for the movie. I'm hoping that this is something, akin to the, if you remember Back to the Future, the original teaser trailer was nothing from the movie. It was, that wind up of all the cool, like, gack inside the DeLorean, and then, like, an unseen a woman walks up to the DeLorean, and he rolls down the window, and you see Michael J. Fox with the sunglasses on, and she asks him, where are you headed? And he goes, about 50 years, and that was the teaser trailer. I'm hoping maybe they're doing something like that. Maybe this is like kind of an abstract teaser trailer that's not going to give away anything about the movie, but is also going to give us something to tide us over. But who knows?
Or just prepping materials for social media, like a proper PR push on social media, maybe.
I mean, that's my money. Everybody's all about the.
I'm putting my money on music video.
That would make sense.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be a soundtrack. There will be pop song attached to it. That's just how these things are done these days. And I can think of no better movie to just, or maybe they can reference the old. Do a 2020 music video complete with neon. I'd love that.
So what if it is like a 1-to-1 remake of the Ray Parker Jr. video with the cast, but it's just
I'd be so there for that. I'm totally for that.
Suggesting that it's a music video is so crazy that it might actually be what they're doing, because nobody's doing music videos anymore. Nobody's doing the City of Crime, Dan Aykroyd, Tom Hanks music video anymore. That this is something that would be completely out of the norm.
Now, that said, is that something you drag a bunch of kids to, in a pandemic to LA to do, sort of thing?
No, maybe not. I mean, if they were game for it, I don't know. Yeah. That's why I feel like it has to be tied into the main movie some way, somehow, because they're obviously spending money on it, and it is obviously something that they want to have a production. I mean, look, Jurassic World just shut down for 2 weeks ago. You've got Batman shut down, and Jurassic World had to shut down. It's very difficult to do production right now because you have to go through all of these hoops. I mean, I say you have to jump through all of these hoops, but they are for people's protection. They're for people to remain safe. But it just makes things more difficult. And making movies is already difficult enough as it is. That I don't know.
I'll tell you this. So they've moved big things. Bond's moved. The Batman's moved to not next year, but the year after.
Dune has moved. Everything is moved at this point. All of the Disney movies, all the Marvel movies have moved. Everything is moved.
I'll tell you this. Even if it's not March, if they can get Ghostbusters open in 2021, I think just on the basis that so many other big ticket, blockbuster type movies have fled to 2022, I think Ghostbusters is going to clean up. Get your bets into Vegas now. Ghostbusters is going to be the biggest movie of the year.
I mean, again, I hate to...
And I only say that semi-facetiously, to be honest. So
I don't want to sound like a broken record, because this is kind of what we've been talking about now for like 4 episodes. But does the movie move? We've talked about this multiple times. Somebody on our social media, I think it was on our Twitter account, mentioned that they thought they're filming some sort of like an announcement like, hey, the movie is moving to... October of 2021 or 2022 or something to that effect. Do you think that this is now kind of indicative that they're going to move? If they're filming something for the movie, that means they're opening the movie back up. That means you've got to redo the mix. You've got to redo any of the DCPs and the prints that you've created. If you've opened up the movie, you've opened up probably like 3 to 4 months worth of post-production work to finish the movie again. So does that, I mean, if we're talking about, somebody was very quick to point out on our new YouTube channel that we're actually exactly 5 months out as we're recording this right now. So do you think that means that they're going to move the film?
I don't know. I kind of meme joked a couple weeks ago that Ghostbusters opens up in Q1 of 2021, and they're already talking that the world won't go back to normal until Q4, at which point it's not that big of a leap to go, oh boy. There's a good chance March is, I'll be honest with you, 5 months out, and they're still talking about things like, the numbers have not started to go down, and they keep talking like winter is going to exacerbate things because all of a sudden the outdoor element is gone.
I feel like we're still so far out from turning the boat around on the pandemic itself that talking about opening movie theaters is premature. Even
March is just
Regal Cinemas and their parent company shutting all of their theaters down because they were holding on to that thread that was No Time to Die, and then Bond vacated that December release date, and they're like, well, just kidding, we're going to close all our theaters down then, because we can't keep showing catalog titles. We can't keep showing, whatever productions the studios are still able to get out there.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do? Yeah. So
I don't know. I don't want to bum people out, but at the same time, people may want to come to grips with the fact that March 5th is not it's not even like late March. It's January, February, and then we're there. Okay. March 5th. And that takes into account, and let's just be very, very frank here. We're 1 month away from American Thanksgiving. So that's a big, everybody get together for you guys.
Yeah.
Followed by Christmas, which is everybody gets together for a 2-week period, seeing lots of people, and we don't know who's going to follow and not follow. And then once, January 1 hits, Milt Anglin is out this year, by the way. He's taking no bets on nothing.
How could Milt predict the future at this point?
I'm looking back at last year's Milt Anglin predictions, and guess what? He way off.
Sorry, Milty. You just lost your book deal for 2021.
Milt Anglin, 2021. WTF? Question mark.
I was wrong. The Milt Anglin story.
Yeah, exactly. What can I say? Milt Anglin. Yeah, so we get New Year's. Again, everybody wants to party and get together. We don't know how much that's going to be followed. Give it 2 weeks to mid-January to see what's bumping. And then you're a month and a half away from when Ghostbusters is supposed to open. That's too short. If anything goes sideways in any of those holiday periods, and let's be honest, we've all proven to be jerks in the long weekends. We screwed up on long weekends, let alone major family gathering holidays.
Huge holidays. So I think it's very real. I don't want to steal his thunder, but I know that Craig of Yes Have Some came up with the theory. Now that Jurassic Park has moved, it was in that June 11th of 2021 spot. Traditionally a Ghostbusters release date weekend. Ghostbusters 1, Ghostbusters 2, June release dates. So I think he's on to something. I'll take that bet, Cowboy.
It's a solid one too. Moving it out to that's January, March, April, May, June. So that's late Q2.
It buys them a couple months. Just
buys
for
them
things
a couple
to
of months
up.
And if everything is solid, that means it'll be one of the first big movies once the theaters start opening up again. And I think people are just going to crush it to go. And let's be honest, if you're told, yeah, you've been stuck in the house for a year, you want to go see a movie, what's playing? Ghostbusters. I think most of the world will go, even people who are like, on Ghostbuster type movies will go, done, let's go.
And all the more reason that they're holding all the cards here. They don't want to rush it, because I would feel like if I have a finished Ghostbusters movie that everybody seems pretty gung-ho about, everybody feels pretty highly, speaks very highly of the film that's seen it, so why rush it? Why put it out? It's the same thing with No Time to Die, and I think Tenet really was that first pancake on the griddle that they were able to kind of take a look at and be like, look, it's a good movie. It's not going to do the box office numbers, and if you don't have enough word of mouth people going to see it, it's just not going to have the splash that you need it to have. And we're in the unique position that we have stuff that's finished and we can release it. Why hurry? Because now they're going to be, again, I hate to keep coming back to Jurassic Park, but Jurassic World is not going to be released now until 2022 because they can't finish the movie. Batman is not going to release because they can't finish the movie. So
let's, and here's the thing. When it comes to this new Ghostbusters, if you want to keep Ghostbusters as a viable recurring franchise, especially with this new let's get the main timeline up and running sort of thing, you really don't want to get a second kind of okay in a row, right?
Yeah.
Afterlife, people will debate it to no end, and let's not dive into it sort of thing, but the armchair wizards think that it was a complete financial failure, where at best it was a financial meh. There was no. Let's put it this way. By the way, this new one was not getting made if the last one was a complete financial failure.
You mean answer the call being a financial
exactly.
failure? Yeah. So, okay,
but
gotcha. Yeah.
It's fair to say that it didn't exactly set the world on fire box office wise. And if you do a second Ghostbusters movie, that's just sort of nobody's grading on a curve, right? If in the end of this it goes out and it just sort of it did okay. when do we see another one? Who knows, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, at the end of the day, we are finally getting a new Ghostbusters film. Whatever they're filming on the lot this past weekend, or shooting, or recording, or whatever's happening.
Let's just say music video.
Will be new. It'll be something new and exciting. And to me, I think the biggest bummer to me would be if this new Ghostbusters movie finally comes out after all of this waiting, and none of the theaters around me are open to go see it. And there's a pandemic going on, and it's not safe for me to go see the movie anyway. And you know, Bill and Ted was something special in the sense that it was not a movie that we necessarily had to see in theaters. It also came at a time where it was like halfway through the 6 months that we are currently into, and it was kind of like a good uplifting. I'm at home, I'm watching a movie, I'm making a big moment out of this. But you know, after 30 years of waiting, man, it would kill me if Ghostbusters is on the screen out there that I haven't seen, and I can't get to it and I can't see it. And I say kill me, and I didn't mean that was a poor choice of words. I should never run for politics or be a politician. But you know what I mean. It would be heartbreaking to me. It wouldn't kill me.
It would stop my heart if I couldn't catch it in theaters. What?
You know what I meant.
Why are you booing at me?
I'm sorry. I know this is very
My
serious.
presidency is over.
God, everything is so heavy and everything. I'm so tired, Chris. I'm so tired. We're all so tired.
I would be choked up and congested and sniffly if I couldn't see this movie.
I would have pink eye and flies would land in my hair. And all right, now we're getting too far into it. So anyway, again, stay tuned. I'm sure that we'll have clarity. I know that a lot of people have pointed out, look, traditionally October, Halloween being what it is. By the way, when did we start calling it the spooky season? Like that, I saw that on John Oliver this past weekend, and then people on social media picked up on it too. It's like this is like a new thing. It's the spooky season.
This is a social media thing. I've seen it the last handful of years on places like Imgur and all that. They call it the spooky season and all this. So, there's a thought for people filming.
Yeah.
You want to hear weird for why they're there?
Tell me weird. Yeah. What do we got weird?
So, what if? Just what if, and you said like a little webisode or whatever, what if they shot a movie with the kid actors who now look about a year older in a little short film set a year after the movie we still haven't seen yet, that references stuff but gives nothing away? It gets us excited and gives us some stuff to play around with and all that. Maybe even hints at some things.
I was going to say, or this is not, I mean, I've been under the assumption this is something we're going to see either before or during the movie release, but maybe they're filming something to come out right afterwards. Like maybe it's a nice little short film that like 1 year later, or oh God, what if they're shooting... What if there is like an end credits scene
a setup,
that says 1 year later, and then we see whatever it is that they filmed?
Apparently, they've shown the studio crew, and like they've shown the heads. They all are big on it. I don't think any of them think that any failure in this movie will have anything to do with the movie they've made. Rather, it'll just be the time period they're trying to put it out in. So who knows? Somebody may have said, conditionally, get ready for the next one. And at which point Jason Reitman goes, well, I got time to think of something clever. And kids who are now physically a year older, why don't we shoot an end credit sequence to...
So then my question to that would be, we haven't seen McKenna... again, this is all based upon stuff that we've seen on their Instagrams, knowing that they're in town. We haven't seen McKenna Grace in town. Is it feasible? I'm sure that they could be there filming. It's just that we haven't seen them on social media, so we have no idea of knowing their whereabouts.
She's a little social media ish when she Instagrammed me when she was shooting the Ghostbusters. So,
but not as much as like Logan. She and Logan were two peas in a pod when they were filming last summer. So yeah, you're right. Like if they were out having dinner or something right now, you would probably see them posting something on social media. But
mind you, that was only just a few days ago. Maybe whatever part they need her for,
they could be filming it right now as we speak.
Right, she hasn't shown up yet. Right.
Let me check my Instagram. Filming. Hold on, everybody. I'm going to check. No, I'm not going to do that.
So it could be.
And again, Paul Rudd, maybe some of the other cast could have possibly been there. We just have no idea. This is all based upon Instagram stories. What a weird world we live in right now, where the news is like, I saw this person in this place. What does it mean?
Yeah. I mean, once that came out, I did a little digging too, and it's funny. Pro tip: you can go to Instagram and you can actually search for a location. And I specifically went looking for recent posts from
on the lot,
from the lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was Logan and Celeste, and then a bunch of people being very excited to do sound recording and mixing, which I got excited about, and then checked the name and figured, it's actually probably the new Venom movie. So,
well, I feel like every time when I do the whatever the geo search on Instagram is, it's just always Instagram influencers out in front of the Sony Pictures lot because they really like that white wall that's around.
Yeah, I saw that too. I was like,
that's all I ever see, and so I've stopped doing that. But
who is this? What are they there for? What? Why?
Yeah, but so
okay, so let's music video 10%.
I was gonna say I'm gonna pull up. We were doing an unofficial
what's your poll
here, and the poll was this. This was what we speculated. We said out of the 4 choices that we thought these possibly could be, it could be a reshoot or a pickup or like an end credits scene, like a Marvel tag at the end of the credits or something. So that was one. Number 2 is a trailer or a promo of some sort. Maybe this is like the Back to the Future trailer I mentioned, or maybe some sort of like marketing thing. The third one, which we haven't talked about yet, is maybe a VR or some sort of experiential video. Knowing, we haven't talked about, I don't know what's going on with The Void. I don't know how they are faring during COVID at the moment. But maybe they're filming some sort of new intro video for The Void, and they've redone the Void experience to be Afterlife centric or something. So it's quite possible that's the film that you see. Like if any of you out there did the Void Rogue One experience, where you see Diego Luna doing the introduction at the very beginning of that, maybe they were doing something like that. Or number 4, a music video. So and the music video is just sort of like, that would make sense, right? So at the end of this is with 260 votes, and I was a dope and I put the wrong date. I thought it was going to end tonight as we recorded this, but it ends tomorrow night because time is a construct at the moment. 40% think that it's a reshoot, a pickup, or a credit scene. 45% think that it's a trailer, some sort of marketing promo. 7% think it's a VR or experiential video, and 8% think that it's a music video. And the good news is that with a cross section of 260 votes, that's a lot more than we usually get on our polls, because a lot of people picked it up. There was a slow news day online for some reason. So we got a lot of people that we ordinarily don't have, outside of our social media bubble. So it seems like overwhelmingly people think that this is some sort of a marketing thing, a promo trailery thing. But I guess not.
Which is the safest bet. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
That's as safe as it gets. But I'd like to put money down on. They're doubling down on the future.
Yeah.
They're preparing for Afterlife and beyond.
Yeah, totally. So stay tuned. I'm sure we'll have clarity on that soon, and we'll see. I'm hoping for something around Halloween. I know that there's a lot of speculation out there that there will be something like a poster or a trailer or something around Halloween, and I hope that's the case, because that will give us a little bit of something to talk about here on the podcast. But at the same time, just a little glimpse behind the curtain would be fun. So one other thing I want to talk about, we're talking about the future. I do want to talk about the past a little bit. Our good friend Ross May, who does the Right Man for the Job podcast, has been celebrating October, much like John Yerkeba is doing his October awesome artwork, which if you haven't seen, please go, because he's got each of the Ghostbusters fighting classic, not even classic, like iconic monsters.
Mm-hmm. Hashtag October.
But Ross May has been posting a whole lot of really fun trivia, anecdotal kind of stuff, because if you listen to Right Man for the Job, it's kind of his oral history of Ivan Reitman's films and how they came to be, how they were produced, how they were received. And Ross, I think he struck a chord with you, Chris. He did a little bit of math on Egon's Twinkie ratios. And this reminded me, and I think it reminded you too, of when you were trying to figure out the Statue of Liberty height. And if the water level would be
Hudson River.
what we're seeing in the Hudson River. So he points out quite a discrepancy here, that Egon Spangler is a little wrong in his math in saying that the Twinkie would be 35 feet long and weigh approximately 600 pounds. And I pulled it up. I don't know how this works. Maybe I can, in the video here, Ross, if I'll get your permission, maybe I can post what you have here in terms of your math, because I don't want to try to misrepresent it. But the length and size of a Twinkie doesn't add up. Like if the Twinkie is 35 feet long, there's no possible way for it to be 600 pounds by mass. So
35 feet
by the proportionate height and weight, and by mass, it just doesn't add up. So he starts with one Twinkie is about 1.4 ounces or 40 grams, and it's 4 inches long or about 10 centimeters. Yeah. So if you then blow that up to 105 times the size of a Twinkie, by mass, you're looking at like 6,800 times the size of a Twinkie. And then by, height and width, you're looking at about 1,157,625 times the size of a Twinkie.
Okay, so how many grams in a Twinkie?
You got 40 grams in one Twinkie.
40 grams. Let's say it's 4 inches long. So 3 Twinkies to a foot. So 3 times.
And he says it was 35 feet long.
35, okay, so 35 times 3 equals, so a factor of 105. And you said it was how many grams?
40 grams.
So times. So grams.
Now, while you're doing the math, I will say my counter argument to Ross, and I wanted to save it for the podcast here, is Egon's whole point is that this is a very dense, very heavy amount of energy compacted into one tiny space. So the island of Manhattan being the Twinkie, the amount of energy being inside the island of Manhattan is overwhelmingly large, and I think what he's trying to get toward. And so in Harold Ramis, speak, that's probably what he was trying to show in terms of a ratio. He probably wasn't doing the actual math like we are, because Harold Ramis was too busy writing the jokes and figuring out that the plot holes and tying this to this scene is what needed to happen.
So he's measuring, oh God, I'm with Ross on this.
We're both with Ross. We're always with Ross May.
One Twinkie.
I want that to be clear.
What Egon has done is he's made one Twinkie normal background PK radiation. Normal. That is the baseline, is one Twinkie.
One Twinkie.
It is so out of control that it is, what did I say it was? 3 times 35? So 3 times 35. It is 105 Twinkies long. But it is a volume thing. So it is 35 feet. Yeah, so 40 grams, which is.
If I had more energy, I'd be doing like the Beautiful Mind graphics here.
3 times 35 equals, so 105 times, which is 0.04 kilograms equals, so 4.2 kilograms.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem right.
Yeah, that's
a 35-foot long Twinkie sized up. 4.2 kilograms is what? 10-ish pounds? I can't do the conversion in my head right now. It's late.
Man, they got the metric system over there.
4.2 kilogram.
Ooh, I know what a quarter pounder is. It's our second Pulp Fiction reference for the year.
That's right. Not lobs, Google. Yeah, it's 9.25 pounds, 9.25 pounds.
Yeah,
and I mean they're light and fluffy, but
I don't know.
There's something off with my math. I'm gonna have to go back through his again.
So, I mean, take a look at it. Go to Ross May's Twitter account, and he did post up a fun bonus episode of his Right Man for the Job for October. And
which
if you haven't listened to, it's
heavy metal,
and it's Michael C. Gross. But his podcasts are fantastic. He does a whole lot of research and really does some great in-depth work. So
yeah, it's a keeper. The series is a real keeper.
So what else is going on in the world right now, Chris? Nothing really. It's just really quiet. Nothing's happening.
Not super quiet. Poor Rick Moranis had a bad morning.
I wasn't sure if we were going to talk about it, but poor Rick Moranis.
It's everywhere. I mean, we should at least address it because, again, for 4 days in a row, my Google alert for Ghostbusters was just Rick Moranis got punched in the head.
So poor Rick Moranis is in New York City. 7:00 in the morning, he's walking through Central Park West, as many people have pointed out, not too far from 55 Central Park West. I mean, not too far, but in Manhattan terms, it's quite a distance.
Yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, so poor Rick is assaulted by somebody just randomly. It was a guy just walking by, as it appears, did not mug him, was just walking by and decided to hurt poor Rick. Probably just one of those things where the guy was not well, or might not have all been there. And so, but at any rate, Rick is okay. He went to the hospital, bruised hip and ribs, and I believe he did get a little bit of head trauma, but nothing serious, and is recovering. And they're still looking for the guy. They're looking for the person who attacked him. And so,
very clear pictures. I mean, mask aside, very clear pictures of who assaulted him.
The first video that they released, you couldn't really tell. It was just a guy in an I Heart NY shirt, and you couldn't really tell who he was. But they did catch him either getting off or getting onto the subway before or after, and there's a great high-res photo of him that you can see him. So
yeah, pro tip, kids in a CC television monitored world, don't wear a hoodie with something super easy to follow on, because they literally just followed the guy through cameras until they got like a super HD high-res look at him. Yeah,
I mean, and to the people that are listening to or watching this podcast, as it may be on the YouTube channel, you probably have already seen this photo. You probably may or may not have information about it, but I would encourage you to share that information. Let's perpetuate that so that everybody can get a look at him, and maybe somebody at that point in time, on Thursday morning, saw this guy in the subway and he acted kind of crazy and he did something else. And so they have some more information as to who he was, where he came from, and can track him down. The good news, I will say, is if they do not track this guy down, Rick is okay.
Rick's fine.
Is recovering, and it will not, that I think this would be a lot more urgent if, something terrible happened to Rick, or if something was stolen from Rick, or it seems like it was just one of those weird New York City run-ins that are. I don't think the guy had any idea that was Rick Moranis. I think it was just like wrong place, wrong time, which is terrible for an agoraphobic. I will point that out. The poor Rick doesn't want to be in the outside world dealing with people, and this is probably not going to help that cause at any rate.
No, but amazing round of applause that not only did he pick himself up, but then he walked himself to the police station to report it. So yeah,
that's true. That's very true. And people have pointed out, well, what was Rick doing in New York? And then
lives there.
He lives there. Yeah, that's the thing. It's
pretty easy.
I think we just automatically assume that he lives in Toronto or somewhere across the border north, but he has lived upstate now for quite some time, right?
Well, upstate, but I think even earlier he was in Manhattan for the longest time.
He had like an apartment, because I think in your interview with him, he mentioned like he'll go take meetings or something. But
at the time I talked to him, he was living in Manhattan.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe that was it. So he's not there filming Ghostbusters. Everybody's like, oh, maybe they're filming Ghostbusters on the Sony lot. Well, poor Rick was just attacked in New York City. I don't think that the next day he's in LA shooting something on the Sony lot.
Every time something comes up too, they put a picture of him out, and he's I think the last one was a few years ago, and again it was looking out some New York window, like looking out a building at something below. So
yeah, I want to say that was like a Vanity Fair article, or it was a magazine article where he talked about why he left Hollywood, but
I suspect he still lives somewhere in the Manhattan area, or at least maintains a house in the Manhattan area.
I will say, if
maybe not for much longer.
No, but, he may be on his way to Wyoming or someplace in the middle of nowhere. But I will say, if you ever want to rally people around a cause, you do not mess with Rick Moranis. Because the Chris Evanses, the Ryan Reynoldses, anybody and everybody was. You attacked Rick Moranis, national treasure. Two national treasures of Rick Moranis. No, you picked the wrong person to mess with. I even saw the it's not the Onion, but it is the equivalent. And the headline was like Trudeau rallies troops to American border in response to Moranis attack or something like that.
Was it Beaverton?
It was Beaverton. Yes, thank you. My goodness, I'm tired. But poor Rick is okay and doing okay. And no, he is not probably filming anything for Ghostbusters at this point. I think he's made it clear he's done, and Jason Reitman and everybody has made it clear like he's not in the movie. So don't get your hopes up, guys.
Well, I mean, he is coming out and working on other stuff. I still seem to think the non-cynical version. Yes, I am sketching out
I was going to say, are you still doing math?
Twinkie. Yes.
I think you're still doing the math here.
I'm still doing math.
This is the beauty of doing video now, is I can see what you're doing, Chris Stewart.
What I'm doing.
Before, why does he sound so... Well, I was doing something while you were talking, Troy. But now it's like, Chris... I can see what you're doing.
Why does Chris sound so distracted? Oh, I understand now. Non-cynically, I think I'd like to believe that everybody has their price, meaning not how much money it takes to get Rick to be in the movie, but rather, how much...
What intrigues him,
what intrigues him, and a little bit of doing right by something that he feels passionate about. So, maybe if there's a... I don't know what Ryan Reynolds blackmailed him with, frankly, for the Mint Mobile, but...
I think that was strictly money. That was a national television spot. Rick probably had to do like 20 minutes worth of work. Rick just show up in a mint field... ad lib with Ryan for 10 seconds and see the coordinator on your way out for your check. Like that. If I'm Rick Moranis, I can't turn that down. It's amazing.
Not at all.
But all right, so Rick's attacker in New York City, that we do need to get into. But other than that, I do want to just do one quick follow-up before we wrap things up here on our Spangler Neutrona Wand chat, because we did get a really good response from everybody who either has one, wants to get one, and still can't find one, or we did hear from a couple of people who did have the problem that I think I may have mentioned either in my video or in the conversation we had together. But at any rate, there are some problems with the electronics. And if you are experiencing any difficulties, it's imperative that if you want to have that remedied, if you want to send it back and get another one, if you want to have your money refunded, you do need to let Hasbro know right away. So if you switch into slime mode and the barrel isn't turning green, or if it's acting all funny and it's getting stuck in one mode, or if anything is wrong with your thrower whatsoever, reach out to Hasbro, because they're at the point where they can't do returns because of the pandemic, and they can't do refunds after a certain amount of time. So if you reach out to them, tell them what the problem is, they will find a way to remedy it. And then I think someone on our Instagram actually mentioned that they reached out to customer service, and customer service says, "I'm really sorry, we don't have any more in stock to send one back to you. So send it to us. We'll send you a refund, and you'll have to get it through Big Bad Toy Store, one of the places that still has them."
Somebody was looking at my video that I posted and pointed out that one of the Clippard stickers that you can see on mine, they didn't have it on theirs.
They were missing a couple of the labels. And again, that's something that's easily remedied. Reach out to Hasbro. I say this as experience. As a kid in 1989, writing to Kenner Toys with whatever nonsense I sent to them, and they sent me like replacement stuff for my action figures. At one point, I think when the Power of the Force 2 Millennium Falcon came out, I was missing like one of the missiles or something. And they sent me the whole accessories bag because they were amazing and wonderful people. So yeah, if you don't have that label, if you don't have literally, if you are not happy with what you have, reach out to Hasbro and they'll try to make it right. It sounds like they're doing their best to make it right. So, and to everybody who has it and is happy and shares in our joy, congratulations, because it's an awesome piece and it's starting to get rarer and rarer. So, and I don't think they're going to do a re-release of it. So you may have a rare collectible. You look to have put your pencil down there, young scholar Stewart. Have you come to a conclusion?
Yeah, I think the density of the materials must change as it gets bigger.
It is a sponge.
Like I'm double checking here, 39 grams, 4 inches long. So that math is still correct. 105 Twinkies long. So 105 times, 39 grams is, that's, so the weight is way too low. So the density must just go up or something.
Density. You are my density.
You are my density. I have to go look at Ross's.
Yeah.
Well, yes, it's Ross. Let's put it this way: Ross is 100% correct. The math doesn't add up. The math doesn't add up.
Yeah, Ross is always correct.
And now all I want to do is actually buy. You can buy molds to make your own homemade Twinkies, and now I just want to do that.
Oh.
So, homemade Twinkies.
Don't wait another minute. Pick up your phone and call the professionals. Go, Ghostbusters! I'm sorry, we'll do it again.
We want to hear from you. Leave us a voicemail on our call-in line at 470-242-4742. That's 4702-GBHQIC. We also have a Facebook page.
You do?
And Twitter accounts.
Brent is dead.
No kidding. Just give me the address.
Search Facebook for
The Ghostbusters! Interdimensional Crossrip!
On Twitter, look for Troy at Ghostbusters HQ and Chris at Proton Charger.
What the hell are you doing?
If you like what you hear, please take a moment to give us a review on iTunes. Be sure to recommend us to your friends.
That makes good sense. Don't wait another minute. Pick up your phone and call the professionals.
Once again, our call-in line is 4702-GBHQIC.
That ought to do it. Thanks very much, Ray.
Well, I feel like this is a good way to close out the episode. Oh, the one thing we didn't talk about, I mean, it's not, we can put it here in the closing thoughts, is the Ghostbusters social media account, especially their YouTube channel. It's very weird that we decided to do a YouTube channel and now they're doing a YouTube channel. I feel like it's like we're the Pee Wee team against the big leaguers. But they've been posting a lot of really awesome content, including slime recipes and a Stay Puft Pop, I guess is what they called it, or something to that effect, like a chocolate covered Stay Puft Pop.
Recipes, archival video.
Yeah, tons of stuff.
Video from old home video releases that people may or may not have on their
side by side
somewhere.
special effects comparisons, shots without the special effects in them, so you can see what they looked like raw. So yeah, check that out, and especially the slime recipe. It's you don't need all of the chemicals that they use on set. It's a very easy slime recipe that you can do at home during the stay at home.
It is essentially, it's the one that's been popular with kids for the last 3+ years or whatever.
Yeah.
It's
all about
blue
the
and
slimes.
borax and some food coloring or whatever it is. I got excited because they were like, make slime just like in the movie. And I was like, yes, tell us your methyl cellulose secrets.
It's a trade
Nothing
secret.
like that.
No.
Yeah. So,
so check that out. That's on their YouTube channel. Just search for Ghostbusters, and it's the first thing that pops up now. But what do you got in terms of final thoughts for this episode? Short and sweet episode, Chris.
Nothing really. It's let's see. We're recording October 7th. I know a lot of people are doing their 31 days of Halloween where they watch something every day.
Yep.
I don't have time for that. But I made a point there just the other night of watching Below. Do you remember Below at all?
No, not really. I mean, I know of Below, but I don't.
What was the director's name? Toohey, the guy who did Pitch Black.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's
Uwe. Was it Uwe? No, it wasn't Uwe. Never mind.
No, it's Toohey. It's pronounced Toohey, as far as I can tell. But
I'm thinking of the guy that did those bad. Never mind. I was thinking of Uwe Boll. Don't worry about
Uwe
that.
Boll.
I was like, no,
nothing like that.
He didn't do Pitch Black.
It's a how do I put it? It's a World War II submarine ghost story. It starts out, and it feels a lot like a World War II thriller, but yeah, it gets creepy real fast, and it's fun to watch. Like a as yet not done the Hangover and all that. Zach Galifianakis is in it. Like,
oh, really?
It's yeah, filmed in England, so it's one half American actors. It's like one half the cast of at that time anything what's his name was making. Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Guy Ritchie. Yeah.
Guy Ritchie. So one half is his gang, one half American. And then Zach Galifianakis in the middle of it on it would take some liberties. They do a little put on your scuba gear and go outside the sub, which is like, no. Looks all right.
Speaking of density,
yeah, but it is a fun, creepy little ghost thriller.
Comet has really kicked it into full gear with their Vincent Price-a-thons, cheesy 80s movies-a-thons. Yeah, Comet TV is a good place to check that out. But
Comet TV, I'm sure if you have MeTV, keep an eye on Svengoolie, because I'm pretty sure his stuff in October must get pretty madcap. I have no real final thoughts other than it's Halloween. Come on, let's Halloween up in this place.
Yeah. And your episode will be coming soon, in the next couple weeks, actually. Here, now that we're
which what?
Your Halloween spectacular,
The WGBI for this year is coming up soon. I have no real final thoughts.
I will say, if you're watching us on the YouTube channel, and I think I've tried to disclaim that this is not going to be a regular thing. We're not going to do the video with the podcast every single time. Particularly, I think it's really going to be only for things where we have to do the visuals, where like we're doing our Eagle Moss building episodes, or like the Spangler Thrower episode where we have something that we're taking a look at.
This was testing out my new camera.
Yeah. So we're trying to walk before we can run here. So if the next episode is not in video, please, Hammer, don't hurt us.
Don't hold it to Troy. He's tired.
Yeah, I'm very tired. We're all very tired. Everybody's very tired. So again, thanks for all of the kind words of support, especially while we try new things and see what we can't do. And we certainly always appreciate that. But all right, well, until next week, everybody, we'll see you all on the other side.